André Maurois was a French author. Maurois was the son of Ernest Herzog, a Jewish textile manufacturer. His family had fled Alsace after the Franco-Prussian War of 1870–71 and took refuge in Elbeuf, where they owned a woolen mill. During World War I he joined the French army and served as an interpreter for Lieutenant Colonel Winston Churchill and later a liaison officer with the British Army. Many of his other works have also been translated into English, as they often dealt with British people or topics, such as his biographies of Disraeli, Byron, and Shelley. In 1938 Maurois was elected to the prestigious Académie Française. He was encouraged and assisted in seeking this post by Marshal Philippe Pétain. When World War II began, he was appointed the French official observer attached to the British General Headquarters. In this capacity he accompanied the British Army to Belgium. After the armistice ended that mission, Maurois was demobilized and traveled from England to Canada. Later in World War II he served in the French Army, in the Free French Forces. His Maurois pseudonym became his legal name in 1947. He died in 1967 in Neuilly-sur-Seine, after a long career as an author of novels, biographies, histories, children's books, and science fiction stories.
Only passions can raise a man above the level of the animal. It is restful to leave one's home, not because traveling does not entail varied and difficult daily actions, but because it removes our responsibilities. Men fear silence as they fear solitude, because both give them a glimpse of the terror of life's nothingness. Smile, for everyone lacks self-confidence, and more than any other one thing a smile reassures them. If men could regard the events of their own lives with more open minds, they would frequently discover that they did not really desire the things they failed to obtain. Old age diminishes our strength. It takes away our pleasures one after the other. It withers the soul as well as the body. It renders adventure and friendship difficult, and finally it is shadowed by thoughts of death. To be witty is not enough. One must possess sufficient wit to avoid having too much of it. Novelty, the most potent of all attractions, is also the most perishable. Our minds have unbelievable power over our bodies. A happy marriage is a long conversation, which always seems too short. The first recipe for happiness is, avoid too lengthy meditation on the past. Love born of anxiety resembles a thorn shaped, so that efforts to pull it out of one's flesh merely cause it to penetrate more deeply therein. The really great novel tends to be the exact negative of its author's life. A great statesman, like a good housekeeper, knows that cleaning has to be done every morning. Modesty and unselfishness, these are the virtues which men praise and pass by. He who has found a good wife has found great happiness, but a quarrelsome woman is like a roof that lets in the rain. Business is a combination of war and sport. Style is the outcome of constraint. A gentleman is never in a hurry. A marriage without conflicts is almost as inconceivable as a nation without crises. Conversation would be vastly improved by the constant use of 4 simple words. I do not know. Live as if you were eternal. The effectiveness of work increases according to geometric progression if there are no interruptions. The difficult part in an argument is not to defend one's opinion but rather to know it. Information is not culture. In the mind of a truly educated person, facts are organized, and they make up a living world in the image of the world, of reality. The art of growing old is the art of being regarded by the oncoming generations as a support and not as a stumbling block. The greedy search for money or success will almost always lead men into unhappiness. Why? Because that kind of life makes them depend upon things outside themselves. For intelligent people, action often means escape from thought, but it is a reasonable and a wise escape. To reason with poorly chosen words is like using a pair of scales with inaccurate weights. We can talk frankly about our defects only to those who recognize our qualities. The reading of a fine book is an uninterrupted dialogue in which the book speaks and our soul replies. When you become used to never being alone, you may consider yourself Americanized. If you create an act, you create a habit. If you create a habit, you create a character. If you create a character, you create a destiny. Experience is valuable only when it has brought suffering, and when the suffering has left its mark upon both body and mind. Men and women are not born inconstant, they are made so by their early amorous experiences. Genius consists of equal parts of natural aptitude and hard work. You don't love a man for what he says, but love what he says because you love him. A successful marriage is an edifice that must be rebuilt every day. The longer the road to love, the keener is the pleasure. No one can be profoundly original who does not avoid eccentricity. There are very few really brilliant men who have not had at least one madman among their ancestors. A true woman loves a strong man because she knows his weaknesses. She protects as much as she is protected. An unsatisfied woman requires luxury, but a woman who is in love with a man will lie on a board. Medicine is a very old joke, but it still goes on. A man cannot free himself from the past more easily than he can from his own body. A great man's manias must be respected, because the time required to combat them is too precious to waste. It is better to teach a few things perfectly than many things indifferently. There are certain persons for whom pure truth is a poison. Marriage makes a man more vulnerable by doubling the expansive sail exposed to the tempests of social life. I knew a man who had been virtually drowned, and then revived. He said that his death had not been painful. Self-pity comes so naturally to all of us. We owe to the Middle Ages the two worst inventions of humanity: romantic love and gunpowder.